Released in 1996, Mario 64 was the beginning of 3D platformers blasting onto the scene. But with modern video games in 2020 and everything released in between, does Mario 64 still hold up today? I wondered this myself since I'm a fan of the genre, but I've never touched Mario 64 in my entire life. But with the release of Super Mario 3D All-Stars on the Nintendo Switch, I took it upon myself to see what all the hype and love was all about. So let's start off with graphics. While this isn't a gigantic factor in my personal opinion of video games, I will say that Super Mario 64 does not look all that impressive. And let's not pretend that this is blasphemy. Oh no, Mario 64 doesn't look very good. But I did find the aesthetic of the game to be rather fun to look at and has its own charm despite being over 20 years old at this point. The draw distance of finding collectibles does hold it back a fair amount. And by this, I mean sometimes I'd be looking for regular coins to get the 100 coin stars, or the red coins that I need to collect for a star mission. And even though I'm in the room where all 8 red coins are, my problem arose for I would find 6 or 7 of the coins, but I couldn't find like the last couple of coins. They're in this room that I'm in, but I can't see them. And they wouldn't actually show up until I got far enough away. Or in rare cases like Hazy Maze Cave, I would find that there were these boxes. And inside these boxes are a couple red coins. But I did not know that. But when I got far enough away, the draw distance would not cause the box itself to load. So I would just see a red coin floating in the air. And then when I got closer, the draw distance would then pop in the box. And then I would be like, oh, that's where the red coin is. It's inside the box. But this isn't honestly all that big of a deal. Like, even in all of my playtime and my completion of the game standardly, this never actually proved to be an issue. It's just something that could have been improved, especially with Super Mario 64 being re-released on the Nintendo Switch in 2020. This feels like they could have improved the draw distance of the game instead of just straight up porting the game to the Switch and making literally no improvements. This isn't specifically with graphics itself, but I never played the original Mario 64 or any port besides the Switch one. And while playing it, it doesn't take up the whole screen. I can't remember the exact aspect ratio that it's in, but it doesn't take up the full screen, which is a little bit weird considering Mario Sunshine and Galaxy take up the whole screen. So while this doesn't personally bother me, I know it can kind of bother some, or just kind of be like, why not just make it widescreen? But again, never ruined my experience of the game, never detract from it, never ruined it. But again, Nintendo could have improved these with the re-release of the game, but small nitpicks. All irrelevant. Gameplay. This is huge for me because the game can look as impressive as it wants. Resolution can be cranked up to max. The story can be as adventurous, emotional, a mixture of everything in between. But if the gameplay doesn't feel satisfying or clean or enjoyable to just play, then the game kind of falls off my radar completely. I'll play it, maybe I'll play it begrudgingly, but it's huge for me. Surprisingly, despite being very old, the gameplay of Mario 64 holds up incredibly well. The gameplay is very clean, for the most part. There's a couple hiccups here and there that I have personally, but this could also, big disclaimer, all of my nitpicks could all be because I never grew up playing the game and I'm playing it in a modern video game landscape in 2020. So I'm a huge fan of Super Mario Sunshine. I really love that game. And in Mario Sunshine, I feel like I have an extremely high amount of control over the movements, control, platforming that I can perform in that game with Mario. In Mario 64, I still have a good level of control despite Mario not having the flood like he does in Sunshine, but my only real complaint is that making real precise movements or real minor adjustments to my jumping or movements, I feel like Mario is what I originally called in the stream was slippery, almost like the game had like a small coat of ice physics on the game naturally, which kind of originally turned me off a little bit because I didn't like how that felt, considering I'm used to modern platformers, Crash Bandicoot, Mario Sunshine's a little bit less slippery platforming. But as I played 64, this became less of an issue where I just kind of learned to deal with it, even if I had some instances where the slight slippery controls or non-precise movements would cause me to die or mess up a jump. I can always just redo it or just re-enter the level. It was never detrimental to my enjoyment of the game. but sometimes I would die and it felt like it was my fault. Sometimes I would die and it felt like it was the game's fault. Like, thanks game, I'm glad you killed me, good job, you did it. Like I mentioned, over time I learned to adjust for the most part, but sometimes it would feel like a massive pain, especially since I never played TikTok Clock or Rainbow Road. I know from rumors and from watching gameplay that TikTok Clock is very platform intensive. I could not imagine the sheer pain it would be to perform precise jumping in TikTok Clock with Super Mario 64's gameplay mechanics. So when playing the levels and collecting stars, you know, the mechanic of the whole game, I love this aspect, but I also did not like it. The design of levels, very good, very tight. I liked them a lot. I didn't really hate any level except for one, but I wouldn't even really call that a level per se. Everything else though, with exception, as I mentioned, I never played TikTok Clock and I never played Rainbow Road. Those are the two levels I never ever played. So I don't know how ghoulishly terrible they are or how complex or overly simple the star missions would be in those levels. But I will mention that while other games, especially comparing this to Mario Sunshine, my personal favorite, Mario Sunshine has some gimmicky stars in it, which don't feel very fun. They feel more frustrating than anything else, which can cause you to have kind of a bad time. I would personally choose that over Mario 64, where Mario 64 has some very fun puzzling stars, and like puzzling enough that I even can't figure them out myself. I had to look them up. So it excels there, but for every great puzzling and challenging star, I also encountered stars that just required literally no thought, no challenge, no thought, no precise platforming. It was just, hey, just jump this small gap and there's your star. There it is. Here you go. Take it. It's super basic. And I didn't find those to be very enjoying. I'd rather have the frustrating gimmick stars of Mario Sunshine than just the real basic, overly simple, not rewarding stars of Mario 64. Although, one aspect I do love of 64 is you can collect stars in any order you want. Even though I would enter a level and have to collect 8 red coins, or get to the top of a level, or do XYZ thing, I could, if I stumbled across another star, or stumbled across the 8 red coins, or anything else, I could collect a different star out of order. I didn't have to get the star I was on. And that's directly comparing it to Sunshine, where you have to collect every shine in order. You can't really skip shines, although with some speedrunning strats or glitches, you can skip some. But 64 doesn't require you to like cheat. You can just collect stars in any order you want, which offers a very nice mix-up of, if I don't like a certain level, I don't have to collect stars in this level. Ergo, I never played 2 levels because I just collected stars earlier in the game. I never had to experience those 2 levels because I collected stars earlier in the game, which is very nice. While it takes away some challenge of forcing you to do hard levels, it gives the player a lot, it gives me a lot of flexibility to kind of collect whatever stars I want at my own leisure. I really appreciate that. I have to talk about my one complaint though, my one only gripe with the entire game, the wing cap. This could be considered a hot take because the wing cap I think is awful and I hate it. I hate it. I can't even repeat that enough of how much I hate the wing cap. So the bonus stage where you have to enter to unlock the wing cap, I hate. It took me a solid 17 minutes to get this 1 star because the wing cap only lasts so long, and that's fine. My problem is, if I couldn't collect all 8 red coins in this mission to get the star, which you don't have to keep the wing cap, you just have to activate it, and I could just skip that. But I wanted to do it because I'm stubborn. But I will say that if I could not, I had to learn to collect all 8 red coins in one round of the level, because if I power-up started to run out or I missed a coin and I had to go to the center platform to replenish my power-up, I could not get enough height to get back up to collect the last couple red coins I needed. Now, somebody told me that you're not supposed to be able to gain height with the wing cap, which sure, that's, I guess, understandable. But at the same time, if you miss a red coin, how do you replenish your wing cap, but get back up to, because the red coins are above you, so how do you get back up there to collect the red coins if you can't gain any height? I don't know. So I didn't enjoy that. It was very annoying and I hated it. I went back to, I believe, Bomb on Battlefield and collected one more star that required the wing cap, but that was the only one that I went back and redid. Other than that, I refused to do any level that involved the wing cap because I hated it so much. I hated it. It's my only complaint of the game. It is the only mechanic in the entire game that ruined my simple enjoyment of the game. I hated the wing cap, but everything else I learned to adjust and use just fine. The wing cap was the one thing that I hated. But despite all of this in the end, my only sole negative being against that one power-up, with Mario 64 being over 20 years old at this point, I fully understand the love, admiration, and just the fans behind this game. This game was very fun. It does not triumph over Mario Sunshine for me, but I definitely really like this Mario game, and I'm kind of bummed that I missed it originally when it released in '96 on the 64. Now, will I ever go back to the game and collect every star in the game? Well, no. I won't. Look, so I enjoyed Mario 64, but with how annoying the wing cap was and hearing how bad Tick-Tock Clock and Rainbow Ride is, I don't have it myself to go back and play the game to collect more stars to make myself suffer. I like my current opinion and enjoyment of the game, and I don't really want to diminish that or take that away from myself. So I only collected the base 70 stars and defeated Bowser, which, oddly enough, my final encounter with Bowser was somehow the easiest? I don't know how that works out, where my third encounter with Bowser was somehow my cleanest and easiest fight of Bowser in the whole game, but I enjoyed it. It was very fun. I actually really liked the mechanic of getting around Bowser like really quickly to grab his tail to throw him. It was super fun. I loved it a ton. But with Bowser defeated and completing the game, I don't need to tell you to buy 64 and play it and enjoy it, because literally it's 2020, and how could you have gone this long and like video games and not have played Mario 64 at this point? Like, I don't understand how you could go this long. I don't even know how I went this long and never played it at like literally ever. So I'm not going to tell you to play it, because honestly you've probably already played it, so you don't need to hear it from me to play this game. But regardless, I enjoyed it. I am very glad that I played Mario 64. Thank you all so much for listening to whether you agree, disagree, hate, love my opinions on Mario 64. If you hate them, totally fine. If you disagree, totally understandable. If you agree with me or love the opinions, thank you. I appreciate that a ton. It means a lot. You can always check me out playing games on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/AzurePKK every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All the footage you've seen throughout this entire video was all captured through my streaming. I never played 64 outside of a stream, so that's where all this footage is from. You can always check out the Twitch and watch them again, or I do upload every stream to the YouTube channel, which I'll have on screen somewhere as well, and you can also watch them there, because I upload every stream there. And if you want to see me stream any other game, any other recommendations, or I just finished Crash Bandicoot 4 that I'm going to continue streaming a little bit longer, you can watch that on Twitch, or like I said, on the YouTube channel. So thank you guys all so much for listening to this video. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you in a stream, a YouTube video, another talks video, and I'll see all of you guys next time.